Group 8 will be presenting our report on benchmarking. Benchmark is the process of determining who is the very best, who set the standard, and what the standard is. In the professional basketball games, one could argue that the Ginebra Game Championship during the coaching years of former Senator Jaworski, the benchmark. Ang benchmarking ay isang proseso pagtukoy kung sino ang pinakamahusay, sino ang nakatakda ng pamantayan, at kung sino ang pamantayan na iyon. Sa mga professional na laro ng basketball, maaaring sabihin na ang Ginebra Championship noon ng mga panahon ng pagiging coach ni dating Senator Jaworski ang pamantayan. Benchmark and the benchmarking can be provide the answer of the following question of an organization. How are we doing? How do we are compared to others? Are we tracking the right measure? Are we making process fast enough? Are we using the best practice? Ang mga benchmark at benchmarking ay maaaring magbigay ng mga sagot sa sumusunod ng mga tanong ng isang organisasyon. Paano tayo nagpapakita? Paano tayo nagkukumpara sa iba? Tama ba ang mga sukatan na sinusundan natin? Nakikita ba natin ang pag-unlad na sapat na mabilis? Gumagamit ba tayo ng pinakamahusay na pamamaraan? Benchmarking can provide them with data to show what can be achieved and how can it be achieved. Thus, benchmarking is a systematic method by which organizations can measure themselves against the best industry practices. Ang benchmarking ay maaaring magbigay sa kanila ng datos upang maipakita kung ano ang maaaring maabot at kung paano ito maabot. Kaya ang benchmarking ay isang sistematikong paraan kung saan maaaring sukatin ng mga organisasyon ang kanilang sariling batay sa pinakamahusay na pamamaraan sa industriya. In more conventional terms, benchmarking can be defined as measuring an organization performance against that of best-in-class companies, determine how the best-in-class achieve those performance level. Sa mga conventional na mga termino, maaaring ipaliwanag ang benchmarking bilang pagmamasahe sa pagganap ng isang organisasyon sa pamamagitan ng paghahambing ng mga kumpanya. The sense of benchmarking is the process of borrowing ideas and adapting them to gain competitive advantage. Therefore, it is a tool for continuous improvement. Ang pinakapunto ng benchmarking ay ang proseso ng pag-angkin ng mga ideya at pag-angkop nito upang makagamit ang kompetitibong kapaki-pakinabang. Kaya ito ay isang tool para sa pagtuloy ng pagpapabuti.
Hello, my name is Sherwin Daincy Suarez from Group 8. Benchmarking, what is it? American Productivity and Quality Center, or APQC, has defined the benchmarking as the process of identifying, understanding, and adapting outstanding practices and processes from organization anywhere in the world to an organization to improve its performance. David Kearns defines benchmarking as the continuous process of measuring product, services, and practice against the toughest competitor or those companies recognized as industry leaders. Dore defines benchmarking as the systematic comparison of element of performance of an organization against those or of another organization, usually with the aim of mutual improvement. I wish to own my own. Ang benchmarking ay isang proseso ng pagsukat ng performance ng mga produkto, serbisyo o proseso ng kumpanya kumpara sa ibang negosyo na itinuturing na pinakamahusay na industriya. Pinakamahusay sa klase. Ang punto ng benchmarking ay upang matukoy ang mga panloob ng mga pagkakataon para sa pagpapakabuti sa pamamagitan ng pag-aaral ng mga kumpanyang may mahusay na pagganap, pag-iwalay-walayin kung ano ang ginawang posible na gayong mahusay na pagganap ng pahambing ng mga prosesong iyon sa kung paano gumagana ang iyong negosyo. Maaari kang magpatupad ng pagbabago o na pagbubunga ng mga makabuluhang pagpapabuti. Maaaring mahulugan iyon na pagsasaayos ng mga feature ng isang produkto upang mas malapit tumugma sa alok ng isang kakumpetensya o pagbabago sa saklaw ng mga serbisyong inalok mo o pag-install ng bagong customer relationship management CRM system para pagganahin ng personalized na komunikasyon sa customer. Reason to benchmark. Objectives of benchmark. The important objectives of benchmark are as follow. Number 1. Benchmark aims at a goal-setting process to facilitate comparison with the best. 2. It aims at motivating and stimulating company employees towards the goal of continuous quality improvement. 3. It aims at external orientation of the company. 4. It aims at identifying a technology breakthrough. 5. It aims at searching for industry best practices. Yung objectives benchmark, nagsimbolo to ng isang aim na para lumago o para umunlad yung kanilang company sa paggagawa ng mga tamang proseso, ganun, para ma-improvement pa. Tas pinapractice nila yung mga industry, ganun. Type of benchmarking. Classification based on the object to be benchmarked. Product benchmarking. This refers to comparison of different features and attributes of competing product and services. It is done through either engineering analysis or through analysis of perception of customers. It also called as customer satisfaction benchmarking or customer value profiling. It can help in identifying activities where improvement is possible. Performance benchmarking. This refers to comparison of performance indicators related to a business as a whole or the group of critical activities or process. It measures all the different kinds of system performance variables such as efficiency, effectiveness, productivity, quality, flexibility, probability, etc. It is a very important tool to identifying different functional areas where scope for improvement is high. It also provides external feedback to the concerned persons involved the process or in any kind of the constitute activities. Process benchmarking. This refers to comparison of processes and it identifies a more effective and efficient process to be implemented. Strategic benchmarking. This refers to examining competitive position in the marketplace. By analyzing a business against competitors in the same industry, business owner gain clear insight if their financial results are good or need improving. Further, each industry has unique business performance metrics, so it's important to ensure the metrics measured are relevant. For example, accommodation business may be focused on occupancy rates and costs of consumables, whereas an accounting firm may be more concerned with employee output and peaks. Thank you. Classification based on the organizations against WOM1 is benchmarking. Internal benchmarking. It refers to comparison of performance between departments, plants, subsidiaries, etc. within the organization. 2. Industry market benchmarking. It refers to comparison of performance by the organizations producing the same class of products and services. And 3. Competitive benchmarking. It refers to comparison of performance against direct competing organizations. Best-in-class benchmarking. It refers to comparison of performance with best practices prevalent in an organization, regardless of products and services. For last, relationship benchmarking. It refers to comparison of performance with benchmarking company which already has a relationship like customer-supplier relation, joint venture arrangement. Ito yung may ugnayan na sa lahat like customer and suppliers. Benchmarking process. There are many versions of benchmarking steps used by very successful organizations. The benchmarking process proposed by Robert C. Camp in 1989 is discussed in brief here. Illustrate the 12-stage benchmarking process are proposed by Robert C. Camp. 1. We have 3 steps. Earmark what is to be benchmarked. 2. Identify the competitors. And 3. Determine the data collection method and start collecting data. And analysis. Now, determine the current performance gap, project future performance levels. Integration have to communicate benchmark findings and gain acceptance. And establish function goals, communicate to analysis, give acceptance for analysis. Yung tatlo na nag-iikot-ikot lang yan. Number 8 sa action. Number 8, develop action plan, implement specific actions and monitor progress. Recalibrate benchmarks. And maturity, attain the leadership position. Integrate practices into the process. Steps in benchmarking process. Phase 1 planning. The planning phase involved 3 steps. A. To identify what is to be benchmarked. B. Identify to whom or what shall we compare. C. To identify how will the data be collected. Step 1. What can be benchmarked? Benchmarking can be applied to any business or productions process. During this step, determine which function, tasks, processes, or activities within the own organization will be subjected to benchmarking. And step 2, to whom or what shall we compare? Identify the world-class or leading-edge companies that have a similar product or process. Important criteria for the selection of benchmark partners are the partners should be outstanding or best in class regarding the benchmark subject, competitiveness of activity, and availability of reliable information about the partners. Step 3. Determine data collection method and collect data. Gather both qualitative and quantitative data about the process performances of partners based on interviews, surveys and consultation of contacts and technical magazines. Examine the process and underlying the working methods of partners. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Charles Serrero Papa reporting for Group 8. Welcome, everyone. Today we will discuss a structured approach called phase-sit analysis to help organizations identify performance gaps and implement improvements based on benchmarking. We'll walk you through the different phases and steps involved. Let's get started. Shop and determine the current performance gap. In this phase, the organizations gather data, measure and analyzes its performance, and compares it to a benchmark partner. This helps identify the current performance gap. The first step is to shop for relevant data and metrics. Then determine the gap between your organization's performance and that of the benchmark partner. Phase 1, Step 2. Document differences and causes. Once a performance gap is identified, it's essential to document the difference in underlying working methods and the causes of these differences. This step provides valuable insights into the areas where improvements can be made. Phase 2. Project future performance levels. Post performance gaps and projections of performance, and as industry practices change, the performance levels will also change in this space. We project future performance levels considering the evolution of industry practices. It's crucial to keep the future in mind and anticipate the changes required to bridge the performance gap. Phase 3. Integration. Integration is all about incorporating benchmark findings into operational targets for change. Let's explore the two steps involved in this phase. Phase 3. Communicate benchmark findings and gain acceptance. It's important to communicate the benchmark findings to management for their acceptance. By sharing the findings across all organizational levels, we can obtain support, commitment, and ownership. This step ensures everyone is aligned and understands the need for change. Phase 3. Step 7. Establish functional goals. Host building upon the communicated data and analysis acceptance. The next step is to establish functional goals. These goals will guide the organization towards achieving performance improvements through the benchmarking process. Remember, these goals should be realistic, measurable, and aligned with the organization's overall objectives. Phase 4. The final phase is all about taking actions to bridge the performance gap. Let's explore the steps involved. Phase 4, Step 8. Develop action plans. Transforming the functional goals into the concrete action plans is essential for implementation. These action plans should answer three critical questions. When should we implement the actions? Which actions should we take? And what goal do we aim to achieve through these actions? And there you have it, the PACE analysis framework to help organizations identify performance gaps and implement improvements through benchmarking. By following this structured approach, organizations can bridge the gap between their current performance and that their benchmark partners. Remember, continuous improvement is the key to stay competitive in today's dynamic business environment. Thank you for joining us today, and we wish you success in your performance. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Paul. The topic that I report is Phase B maturity. Maturity phase will be reached when best industry practices are incorporated In all business processes, this maturity phase is reached through the following 2 steps. Step 11, attain the leadership position. Step 12, interrogate the practice into the process. For example, neto, compare mo yung products sa ibang company para malaman mo saan ka mag-i-improve o kung ano i-adjust mong products sa company mo. Next, benefits of benchmarking. The benefits of competitive benchmarking include 1. Creating a culture that values continuous improvement to achieve excellence. 2. Sharing the best practices between benchmarking partners. 3. Prioritizing the area that need improvement. 4. Enhancing creativity by evaluating the not invented here syndrome. Increasing sensitive to change in the external environment. Shifting the corporate mindset from relative compliances to a strong sense of urgency for ongoing improvement. Focusing on resources through performance targets set with employee unit. Next, at kung meron advantage, meron din itong disadvantage. Pitfalls of benchmarking. Benchmarking is based on learning from others rather than developing new and improvement approaches. Since the process is being studied, it is therefore a firm will find the benchmarking cannot give them a sustained competitive advantage. Although helpful, benchmarking should never be primary strategy for environment. If all the industry employ the benchmarking approach, it will lead to stagnation of ideas, strategy, best practices. So benchmarking should not be a substitute for invention. It must be a mere improvement tool. Ito, kung gusto mo talagang mag-improve, para kang dumedepende sa iba, dapat dumedepende ka rin sa mas kaka-improve mo sa success ng company. At kung gusto mo talagang mag-improve, pag-aaralan mo yung mga pwedeng apply sa skills para sa products mo. At mas bukas ka sa mga failure mo para ma-base mo kung ano pa ang pwede mong gawin.